things I wanted to talk about, I wanted to make sure that we got to it on this particular podcast was, some of the things that are happening in the industry. So, we're right there, with everybody, and we're fighting the good fight on bringing products in from overseas, and we were all kind of waiting to see what was going to happen here July 1st with the new tariffs that were being discussed over the last 30 days. I had the feeling that what happened around the new year, and again, depending on when you're watching this is, July 2nd, 2019. We were all told that on July 1st, 2019, we were going to see a tariff hike of roughly 10 to 15%. And so what we were dealing with in the lighting industry going into right around this time last year, we had roughly a 6% tariff coming in from China. And right around September, August of last year, this time, there was a 15% adder. So it wasn't a 15% increase. It was another 15% tariff placed on products coming in from China. So there was already 6 plus 15, made it 21. And that 21% got held from August through the end of the year, and we were told that there was going to be another 10% added at the end of the year. It did a lot of really funky things because we were all afraid. First, we ordered as much material as we could up until a cutoff when they said, okay, that's it. Everything after this point is getting 10% added to it. So those that were bringing product in and selling it landed in the U.S., meaning that they were absorbing the tariffs and then selling it to the customer, whether it be a contractor, a distributor, a fixture manufacturer, whomever. There's all these different layers. They were offering it landed, it's called, which means that it includes all of the costs that it costs to get the product to the U.S., meaning shipping costs, tariffs, duties, any kind of importation costs that are incurred are included in the $100 fixture price, right? If you're dealing directly with China, then there's a chance that you're getting it, what they call it, FOB China, which means that you need to add in the shipping and the tariffs and all the rest of it. So we end up doing a lot of business both ways, but for those where we were buying it from someone in the U.S., they just increased their price, even though they hadn't experienced the tariff yet, because the tariff was coming in December. If they were going to sell it to you in November and they knew it was going to get there after December, they just charged 10% more. But then at the end of the year, the tariff didn't happen. So you'd bought material and paid them 10% more. And then they had the whole thing, well, do I get my money back? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It just depends, right? A lot of them said, what tariff? That was just a 10% price increase on the cost of materials. That happened to us. Yeah. Yeah. So that was nice. We're like, what cost of materials?
Yeah, right.
Well, the tariff. Well, what tariff? Yeah, so that got interesting. So we, in this round, decided to hold off. So there were some projects that were sitting in the balance that we were waiting to make a decision on. And as soon as they announced that, we talked to our end users and we said, you can either put the order in now and we've got to charge you more because we're going to expect it, and maybe we can deduct it back, but this is the situation, or we can wait till July 1st and see what really happens, because December of last year something happened and they negotiated it out and there were no tariffs, right? Or they didn't get the 10% increase. So that's what happened this time. So we were at 21, we were expecting a 15, it was going to be 36, and nothing happened. So so that's good news, and I did confirm that. I went to a few different websites, I looked at CNN, I talked to the different importers that we work with, I talked to my VP of logistics who does all our importing, and it's 100% that at this point today, there will not be a tariff. So anything that came in yesterday or today, or et cetera, that we were all expecting to have to add 15% to, it didn't happen. We don't know how long it's going to be for. There's now I think we're going to live in a constant state of uncertainty now in this particular administration, where there's constant, you got, for better, for worse, Trump is trying to do something, right? So if if his strategy is, I'm gonna put some sort of leverage on North Korea, or I'm going to put some kind of leverage on China, or whomever he's trying to lever at that particular time, and he's using tariffs as the leverage, then we're all gonna have to deal with that. And so far it's been really painful, because the projects that we're working on may suffer, and we may end up eating the cost, which is interesting. I think it's something that may have been known. I'm sure the president knows things happen, right? So the U.S. companies are going to have to end up. We're going to be less profitable. The tariff gets paid, and then we end up eating. Because if you close the project, right? What are you going to do? But so there's some dynamics there that I think are painful, that U.S. companies are having to bear the burden of. But I can confirm right now that if you're out there searching the webosphere and you're looking for someone to talk about, someone that's doing importation and has some experience and is looking for an answer, I can tell you unequivocally right now that we're not having to pay that increase in tariffs today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that is a really good thing, and it is going to be interesting to see how this new normal, really presents itself in the next 6 months, 8 months, because there's always something new that's happening in the news, and it all of a sudden there's price shocks, and everybody screeches to a halt, and so it's good that we are able to have our finger on the pulse like that, and then really see behind the curtain and what's really going on, because I think a lot of our viewers don't really get to see that when they're working with, the Rexels of the world or the Grangers of the world and all those folks. It's all hidden, and it's just like you were saying, Benjamin. It's it's 10% more. Don't worry about it. It is what it is, and it's like, well, no, why? And is that really true? And having that insight is, I think it's great. It's exciting that we can do that. And
I think that hopefully end users will go there with us, and will start to bear some of the burden. I know it's a nice negotiating point when both sides, right? So a contractor could go, or whoever's selling a project could go to the end user and say, well, I just got hit by a 10% increase, but I'll keep the price the same if you do this today, right? So okay, I used it to my advantage. I ate 10% cost, but I used it to close a deal, right? Or I think that the way we're trying to approach customers, we're kind of open book, and we come in and we are pretty clear about where we're trying to be, and the types of paybacks we're trying to get, and where our costs are, and that when something happens like that, especially when you're enjoying the benefits of working with someone that is working directly with China, that when something wacky happens like this, as an end user, you don't use it to punish us, right? You kind of go in as a partner, and maybe you split the difference or something like that. I hopefully that ends up being the outcome, but my sense is that it's not going to be like that, right? Because you're the customer, right? I'm not paying that increase. That's what everyone said. Yeah, I saw the news, 10%. That's going to hurt you. Not me, but
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that, and that's a great thing. And so for those end users who are out there and have projects, I would say take it as a moment, kind of as your get out of jail free card. You're going to save 15% on your project. Get those projects in. Do it.
Yeah, because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it could be a matter of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and all of a sudden there's another chain reaction, and boom, tariffs are back on the table, or they're implemented immediately, and that's always in the cards. So yeah, I would definitely.